Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our meditation session on Sunday. Today, we're going to practice Vipassana meditation. Vipassana meditation means insight meditation. This is the most important meditation to enlightenment, attain to enlightenment. You know that, right? The samatha meditation, what we do mostly concentration meditation, focus, breath, develop concentration. That kind of uh, meditation practice helps to develop that is super normal powers by developing mind. By practicing vipassana, it helps to develop wisdom. That practice helps us to realize the reality and true nature. That practice helps us to get rid of the defilements, to attain to enlightenment. To enlightenment, the meditation, the vipassana meditation directly helps to enlightenment. That's the one and only path to enlightenment, vipassana meditation, right? Samatha meditation, concentration meditation helps to develop vipassana. There are two ways to enlightenment. One way is called um, Cheto Vimutti. Cheto Vimutti means liberation by mind. Second one, Panya Vimutti, liberation by wisdom. Someone could practice samadhi, develop concentration, and gets that kind of psychic powers, jhana, and supernormal powers if you want, if you go over and develop in it, and then turn to vipassana to attain to enlightenment. Then if someone prepared to go into directly vipassana without jhana, and he could go by practicing vipassana to enlightenment. And today I'm going to help you with practice vipassana meditation to understanding reality and true nature. For example, especially Buddhism mentioned it understanding impermanence, impermanence nature. Impermanence, everything is impermanence. There are nothing, anything permanent. There are nothing, anything permanent in this universe. Visible or invisible, whatever it is, whatever arises because of condition, reason, conditional thing, every conditional thing is impermanent. That's the first characteristic. Second one is unsatisfactoriness. Unsatisfactoriness. There are no satisfactory. We feel always something less, mm, something missing, and we're not satisfied. We cannot be. We cannot be satisfied because it is impermanence. That's the reason there are no satisfaction, permanent satisfaction, because of there are not anything permanent than suffering or painful. The third one is a non-self. There are no permanent entity, eternal entity like soul. There are nothing, anything, soul or permanent entity because everything is impermanent. They understand in these three characteristics is the way to enlightenment. For example, when we understand everything is temporary, then we understand nothing to attach so much, nothing to craving so much, nothing to clinging or grasping. The things, whatever is impermanent, is nothing to craving or clinging, to attach. This understanding, this impermanent nature is give us power to detach because we understand everything is impermanent. How could you meditate to understand this impermanent? There are many ways. Then I'm going to guide you step by step to, in one way, to understand uh, this impermanent and unsatisfactoriness and non-self. The practice in understanding impermanence or suffering or non-self is the real positive thoughts. It is the real positive thoughts. To understand, we are understanding reality. We're not in living in the kind of dogma or kind of in a fantasy or in like kind of dream. No, we are living in the on the reality. Then whatever happening, and we know what's going on. That's how Buddha lived very peacefully, and all arahants lived in peacefully because they did not have attachment to craving. Okay, then don't afraid to see your reality and open your mind to understand reality. This is the wisdom. This is the power. This is the power of knowledge. It's make you enlightened. It's make you wise. It's make you calm and peaceful person without so much um, crazy thoughts or cravings. Okay, you may gently close your eyes. Keep your back straight. Take deep breath. Slowly let go and relax. Listen to these sounds and relax. Okay, take deep in breath and slowly let go your tension, stress, depression. Just relax. Focus your top of the head and relax your head and relax your face and your shoulders, arms, and relax your chest and stomach, legs and feet. Now see and imagine your sitting posture. Observe your sitting and adjust yourself and relax. Now we're going to understand the reality, my reality, my true nature. And just pay attention to your hair. After birth until to now, this hair keep growing and become gray. It is because impermanent. And just imagine when you born as a baby until to now you came with changing, still changing. This is like a flow in water on the river. Never stop. This changing is happening every moment. Now you changed so much. This is never stop. We keep growing. And you try to understand this impermanent nature by focusing your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body and mind. These eyes are impermanent, temporary, exist. One day will disappear. You need to focus this one by one and just think about your eyes. No matter how much I love these eyes, the nature of the eyes is impermanent. The nature of the eyes are impermanent, temporary exist, will disappear. I will lost it. I will lose these eyes one day. And then ears, nose, tongue, this whole body and mind. You may try to understand impermanent nature of these faculties. And also, you may try to understand the unsatisfactoriness of the eyes. It is suffering, unsatisfactoriness because of impermanence. And there are no eternal entity of the eyes. Then eyes are selfless, as well as the ears, the same. These ears are impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless. This nose, tongue, body, and mind. Mind is so fastly changing, arising, disappearing. In a second, hundreds of thoughts arising and disappearing. It's not the same mind. So many minds arising, thoughts arising. When we see something, eye consciousness. When we hear, ear consciousness. Different. When we smell something, nose consciousness. This all consciousness arising and disappearing. For example, in the past, so many thoughts we had, it's all gone. Whatever thoughts arising now is disappearing right this moment, right now, on the spot. The mind is itself impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless. Whatever eyes we had in the earlier, nothing to craving or attached, is gone. Whatever ears we had, the body we had, pretty beautiful, shining, as now it is gone. We are growing, impermanent. It's not able to stop. This impermanent is the nature. Okay, now you focus the external sense basis, forms we see through the eyes, everything these external forms, all visible things in this world is impermanent, subject to change. And all the sounds we hear through the ears are impermanent, arising and disappearing. And all the smells, odors we smell through the nose, and all the taste and the touches we touch by this body, and the thoughts comes to mind, all are impermanent, arising and disappearing, also unsatisfactory because of the impermanent, and selfless because those all will disappear. Now see this outer world, the impermanent and unsatisfactoriness and selfless. Try to understand this true nature of them. It's nothing to attach whatever we see through the eyes. It could be a human or something else, but those they all are impermanent, temporary exist, and will disappear. Now just focus about the consciousness. Eyes, when eyes meet the forms, eye consciousness arise. The whole eye consciousness is impermanent. In the past, these eyes met so many forms. Those all arisen consciousness is all gone. Ears met the sounds in the past, then ear consciousness arose, and those all gone. The nose met the odors, tongue did taste many things, then tongue consciousness arose, so gone. We had many touches in the past, those all gone. Those body consciousness is gone. So many thoughts came to mind in the past, those all gone. Whatever is arising now, this moment, is temporary, arising and disappearing. Whatever arises tomorrow in future is impermanent too. All eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose, tongue, body, mind consciousness are impermanent, temporary, unsatisfactoriness, and selfless. Now you may focus about the contact. When I met the forms, then consciousness arose. Then we had the contact, eye contact. That eye contact was impermanent and temporary. When the ears met the sounds, Your consciousness arose, and that was the contact. That contact was temporary. And the same way the nose met odors, then nose consciousness arose, then contact, that contact was disappeared. When the tongue met the taste, when body having the touches, body consciousness arose, and then we had the contact. The contact is gone and disappeared. And mind had the thoughts, met the thoughts, then mind consciousness arose. That mind contact is gone. Whatever mind now think, then mind consciousness arise. That contact also impermanent, will disappear the right away. Whatever in future, whatever contact arise, will disappear. Then contact itself impermanent, temporary, unsatisfactoriness and selfless. Now let's focus and meditate on the feelings. When eyes met the forms, then eye consciousness arose, then contact, then we had feelings. Those feelings was happy and joyful and comfortable. Some are uncomfortable, painful, suffering. Some are neutral. Whatever feeling arose and was impermanent and disappeared. The same thing when the ears met the sounds. We had the ear consciousness, ear contact, and feelings. Those all feelings came through the sounds when ears met, was impermanent. The feelings came through the nose, tongue, and body and mind, was impermanent. Whatever feelings arising now, this moment, through the ears, through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And these all happy, painful, neutral all feelings are impermanent, arising and disappearing, temporary, and selfless. Whatever feeling arises in the future, is impermanent, temporary, and selfless. Nothing to crave in and attached. Everything is impermanent, unsatisfactory, and selfless. Use your intuition to understand this reality, true nature of yourself and all everything in the world. Then everything is impermanent, temporary, exists, and definitely will disappear. Even this earth, moon, sun, and all the stars, they are creating themselves, existing with changing and will disappear, and creating again themselves. This is what happened. All are impermanent, temporary, selfless. There are nothing eternal entity, anything in this body or outer world. Everything is impermanent, temporary, subject to change. Craving, desire, Attachments make uncomfortable and suffering and pain. By understanding this reality, and we can live happily, peacefully, without stress, whatever happened to us or whatever happened in the world. It's nothing to worry. It's happening all the time. It's the reality, impermanent. If we could live without so much attachment, we could live happily and peacefully. When we attach to things, crave into things, this consciousness going to cling again and again the impermanent things. The consciousness become change itself and keep running by clinging one to another. That's how we feel painful suffering. Okay, do you have any question about the meditation we practiced today?
Oh, it's a wonderful meditation, Bhante. Thank you.
Yeah, this is called Vipassana meditation. Okay. Then
Okay.
yeah,
If you just meditate, like nothing happened, just your mind just flow all over the place. You get married, as it's the same, right?
I didn't get. Say again.
I said, some people expect to see things in your images, but sometimes it doesn't work the way you want to be. But it's not good. That's attachment. That's craving too, right?
Right.
So you just sit there and the result that okay, you're not expected, but the result is still good, right? Even though your mind's all over the place, but you sit there, you remain sitting there. It's okay too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, staying positive is the most important thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, this
Keep
is
doing it. Yeah.
yes, yes. This is
Because my mind sometimes is not stable sometimes. And then I get the conscious back. I said to myself, okay, just a little bit focusing on the Buddha teaching.
some people think that whatever we practice today, it is about negative. That why we think about this negative things. This is not negative. We are exactly see the reality. Reality is not. If you see, if someone call this reality is negative, yeah, it is negative. But we see reality,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not negativity. That's the reality. Then when we understand this reality, and we okay. You see, when we go into exam, we prepare to answer. then we go in with good knowledge. Then we were comfortable. Whatever questioning, and we answer him because we know. If this life is an exam, then we have insight ourselves. Whatever happened to life, we know answer. It's the reality to understand in this true nature.
Can you transfer the merit to your loved ones, your family? Can you transfer that merit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we can do that. Transferring merits to departed ones.
Mm.
So,
Hmm.
what's your question?
Like transfer to my daughter if she's not in behave, like misbehaving, you want her to be, like be good person. So if the mother keep doing meditation, can the mother transfer her merit to her to make her, like transform
Okay.
in better
Okay.
way
See you.
of life?
Okay. See you later next week. Okay.
Because my daughter doesn't want to do anything about it. She's Christian. She just 6-7 years ago she changed her religion because of her husband who passed away. Brought her to baptizing and everything, but since then she doesn't care about anything anymore about this. So, but I can't say anything about Buddhist to her now because she doesn't want to hear anything. So I just let her be, but I pray for her.
She used to be a Buddhist, but not now.
Yes, she went to Buddha to temple with me all the time before. But then she moved here since she was 18 years old. And then she met this person and then they got married by themselves.
Right. She
And then he
changed.
felt,
She changed.
yeah,
She changed. Yeah.
completely,
It is. It is impermanent. She changed. It is impermanent. Right.
Yeah,
The whatever. Maybe she will change again later. Who knows?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lim, how are you doing? Good. Hi. Thank you for coming. Okay, you ready to go into the discussion?
Hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, let's see what we can do.
This is the fourth week or fifth week of the
I think,
sutta we're learning.
what do you think?
I think fourth week, yeah.
Oh,
Fourth or
fourth
fifth.
week. Okay. Yes. See if we can.
We're going to finish the sutta today.
Majjhima Nikaya 12. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get it. Oh, vascular monastic law. Middle length sentence, first collection, verse 51 through 10. This is funny. Here we go.
Then we was learning last week the Buddha's the self-mortification, right?
Sign.
Then we learn in the winter Buddha was in the open space at night in the winter time. Buddha, not Buddha actually, the Bodhisattva.
So,
He was in the midnight
illustration
in the open area in naked,
destinations.
and daytime he was in the forest. In the summer, very hot weather, very heat, burning days, he was in the open space in the daytime in naked. and torturing himself. In the summer hot weather, he was in the open area and naked, torturing himself, burning his body, and the night time in the forest. Then Buddha says here, when he feels that if when he frozen, he didn't find a fire or heat. When we burning in heat, he didn't find uh, cool anything, and he keep torturing himself to attain to enlightenment. Then he couldn't do that. He wasn't able to attain to enlightenment by practicing this extreme self-mortification. And then Buddha was in the charnel cemetery, in the cemetery ground, charnel ground, and he slept there. He slept over there, and he keep the bones of the skeletons as his pillow. Then he was meditating on the charnel ground. Then the kids come over and keep talking to him. He's meditating, he's not talking. Then what happened? The kids spitting on him and urinating on him. And they put some stick into the ears and giving so many pain. But he didn't uh, stop his practicing. Then Buddha says again, those days, these Brahmins had the idea, some Brahmins and monks had the idea, we can purify ourselves by rejecting food. Rejecting food. Um, then he start to practice rejecting food. And they believe that the purification come through the food. Then he start to eat one single jujube. It's called cola fruit. Very small fruit. And he just only one single jujube fruit for a day and nothing else. And he used to that cola drinks and cola powder or jujube powder and jujube drink. Finally, he used to eat one single jujube. Now, very less food, no food. Finally, what happened to him? And he says his whole body became like 80, 90, 100 years old. His hands and the legs was become like very weak, ugly. The tree branches and like lines of the, the lines going through the around the trees. Very old, ugly. He became his limbs, hands and legs because very, very less of food. And then his backbones was very nervous straight. It was um, gone the wrong way, and the ribs of his the chest was visible, like the rafters on the roof. We can see the rafters of the roof under the house if it is not ceiling over there, and we can see the rafters in the house, right? And Buddha says his ribs is visible because less of food, no muscles.
mm,
And their ribs also wasn't very well. And then his eyes was like a little water under the deep well. When we see into the when we peek into the well, we can see little water in the well, the deep well, like his eyes was going into the body. It's now visible like this. It's already inside. This the eyeball was inside.
mm.
Mm. That's what his self mortification was look like. His eyes gone in. It's like a big hole, two big holes, like a skeleton. And he says, now it's less of food. His stomach was stuck into his backbone. When he touched, Buddha says, when I touch my stomach, I can touch my backbone. You see, there wasn't anything in his stomach, right? Now we have a bigger stomach already. We can touch his stomach. But Buddha, when he practiced self mortification, he didn't eat. He just got a one single juju for a day,
Mm.
very little one. Then anything wasn't in the stomach. When he touches stomach, he can touch his backbone, spine,
Yeah.
spine. When he touches his spine, and he can touch his belly. Mm. When he touch his body with his hand, with his palm, and then the hairs, body hairs, is get removing, is falling down because it's already dried, no food, the skin already died. Then his body hairs was falling when he rubs his body. Mm. Then some people keep saying because that purification come through the food, then he stopped avoiding food. That's how he became like that. Then he used to eat one single beans, one single sesame, one
Mm.
single rice. Then finally he was very weak, very weak. When he sit down to urinate and when he sit down to defecate and he falling into it, he falling into it because he doesn't had the strength. You see how worse he was, and he said his face is is falling into that when he urinate and defecate
Mm. Oh.
because of the
Mm.
lust of food.
Mm.
Then Buddha says, Sariputta, Buddha teaching to Sariputta and saying to Sariputta what was his self mortification look like. And Buddha says, Sariputta, then I practice extreme self mortification never ever anyone had done before, but I couldn't find or achieve any
Mm.
super normal power or any enlightened the path of enlightenment. The my self mortification was useless. It wasn't help to develop wisdom or mind.
mm,
Then some Brahmins and monks says that purification come through the wandering and traveling in the samsara,
mm,
living in the samsara, staying in the samsara, traveling in the samsara, human to animal, animal to ghost to hell, hell to heaven, heaven to human, something like that is traveling in the samsara. They believe by traveling in the samsara one day and they get purification and get liberation. Then Buddha
mm,
says, those people was there was believing something like that. But Sariputta, there wasn't any places I wasn't lived. I was lived every places except except pure abodes, Suddhavasa. And Buddha didn't born in the Suddhavasa, pure abodes,
mm,
heavenly
mm,
realm, and he was born all other places. Then if
mm,
someone says the purification come through the traveling in the sansara, I have to be enlightened. I have to
mm,
be purified. But I couldn't. I didn't. And I was everywhere in the sansara. Where he wasn't. He wasn't in the Suddhavasa, pure abodes. Why it is that? Who born on the pure abode, Suddhavasa, Brahmaloka?
mm,
And that Brahma realms will born who's the attained to Sakadagami, who attain to Sotapanna, and who attain to Anagami, who attain to stream enter, once return and none return, they will born
mm,
on that Brahma realms called pure abode, Suddhavas. There are
mm,
five Brahma worlds. It's called Avya, Atapa, Sudasi, Akanita. These five Brahma realms is the enlightened ones who's already attained to the path, they will born there. Buddha was born there and he will never come back
mm,
to human realms to become Buddha.
mm,
Whoever born in the that's pure abodes and they will be stay there until to attain to enlightenment. And they attain to enlightenment at there and passed away over there. Never come back to human realm. Then that's why Buddha says, except those places I were been every places in the samsara, but he couldn't attain to enlightenment. Then some Brahmins and monks believe um, the purification come through the rebirth. There was a teacher called Makkali Gosal, and he said if when someone rebirth rebirths completed 84,000 birth times. When someone born 84,000 birth times, and he automatically become freed and liberate. And he also gave a simile. Someone climbed the mountain with the thread ball, and he hold the one corner of the thread ball and put into the down, and is keep releasing, and finally going to end. Likewise, when someone going to 84,000 birth times, and finally he will liberate. And Buddha said, if someone, people believe that, but if I was many lifetime, I will rebirth again and
mm,
again, except that Suddhavasa Brahma realms, and I were born already many times, but I didn't liberate it.
Mm.
My purification wasn't because of the rebirth. And some Brahmins and monks believe the purification come through the sacrification or sacrificing, offerings, rituals. And Buddha said, I did all the kind of rituals and sacrifices when I born as a kings, as a Brahmins, as a householders, and many lifetimes in this samsara. There are nothing, any sacrifice I never have done. I did all the sacrifices in many lifetimes as a kings, as a Brahmins, and as a householders. But that sacrifices didn't help me to attain to enlightenment, or it didn't make me enlightened or purified.
Mm.
But some monks and Brahmins believe that purification comes through the offering fire. In the ancient time in India, this fire offering fire is very main ritual.
Mm.
They keep burning fire and never let cease fire, and always keep fire and keep worshipping to fire. And Buddha said, I did that fire sacrification, offering fires as the kings, Brahmins, householders, many lifetime, but it didn't make any sense. Then what Buddha said, then Buddha did all these um, sacrifications and practices, and he couldn't become enlightened. And he tortured himself in many ways. We even can't imagine that self mortification was look like very terrible, painful. Um, you remember last week we learned, and he eat the cow dung, the very young cows dung, and he drinks the milk from the cows, uh, and he eat them, and he even eat his own urination and defecation, and he practiced that self mortification. He even human can imagine. Finally, he understood this is not the way to enlightenment, and he gave up. And he decided to practice what? He decided to practice middle path.
Mm.
Middle path is not the indulgence with sense or pleasure, and not the self mortification. It's in the middle, not having extreme, comfortable, or pleasure, or not the pain. No pleasure, no pain, and stay in the middle. This is uh, actually this middle path is called Eight Noble Path. Eight Noble Path. You remember Eight Noble Path? Right view, right thoughts or intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This is the Eight Noble Path and Middle Path. And Buddha start to practice this middle path, and he gave up self-mortification. He already earlier gave up the indulgence on the sense of pleasure. He renounced the palace, right?
Mm.
Siddhartha, the king Siddhartha renounced the palace, and he gave up this indulgence on sense of pleasure and become homeless and practicing austerity. Start to torture himself, start to practice self mortification, and he did it extremely hard to do. But finally, he understood this is not the path to enlightenment, and he gave up that one too, and started to practice middle path, eighth noble path, morality, concentration, and wisdom. This is what is the middle path: morality, concentration, and wisdom. Sila, samadhi, panya. Sila is the precepts: avoiding killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, telling lies, and intoxication. Concentration, samatha, meditation, and develop meditation, develop mind, and vipassana, develop wisdom, and then he attained to enlightenment. Now Buddha says, mm, there are some monks and Brahman says when we grow in old, we lose our wisdom, we lose our memory. When we grow in old, actually it's happened to people, right? When we people grow in old, we become weak, we become lose our vision, hearings, uh, the sensation mostly. The those Brahmins believe when we grow in old and we lose our intuition, our wisdom, our knowledge, our memory. Then Buddha says, Sariputta, now I am already old. I'm 80 years old. I'm now very weak, very old person, almost to close to death. But I still keep my wisdom, memory, my mindfulness. If Sariputta, my four disciples, are very good with knowledge, very good with knowledge, and they four my disciples stay and asking me all the questions related to the four foundation of mindfulness, four foundation of mindfulness, and they asking me question continuously 100 years, one by one, four disciples, and asking question Buddha continuously 100 years, just stop for eating, drinking, and sleeping, and then whole years asking, and Buddha says, I will answer them without making any mistake. I never ask them again to ask the question again. Oh, I'm never given to this twice. I'm never let them to ask me twice. When they ask the right first time, I answer to them. Until they keep me on the bed and carry me because I'm very old. But I still keep my wisdom and mindfulness. I will never lose it. Then when someone says when we grow in old, we lose the wisdom of mindfulness and memory, but it's never happened to Buddha. His physical body going to weak and very, very weak, but his wisdom, mindfulness, and knowledge is never going to lose. Right? Then Buddha says again, when someone born in this world for benefits for the humans, benefits for the gods, benefits for the all living beings in this universe. If someone born in this world for happiness to everyone, it is someone called to right way, it is called about me, Buddha says. My born on this earth is happiness to all sentient beings in the world. My born in this world is the benefits to all living beings. The Buddha's born on the earth is the benefits to all living beings. Happiness to all living beings. You see, for that, the Buddha's teaching make us enlightened and freed from the samsara and give us liberation from suffering. But you see that the first precept of Buddha's teaching is the stop killing, right? Then probably Buddhist people not killing. They are not killing. And the Buddhist people don't like to kill any sentient beings. They are avoiding killing. It's a good benefits to all world, right? That's what it's because Buddha's birth. But it's not the most important thing, it's the enlightenment of freedom from suffering and samsara. Then Buddha's born on the earth is the happiness to all sentient beings. Then when Buddha kept teaching like this, and Buddha's behind was the monk called Nagasamala. Nagasamala was behind Buddha and keep fanning him. Um, then Nagasamala said, Bante, my body hair stood up, arose, because when I hear this teaching, my hairs was rise up. Wow, this is practice is amazing. Even we cannot think. This is amazing. My hairs is rising up. Um, what kind of teaching is this? Then Buddha said you could remember this teaching as rising up teaching. The hair rising up teaching. Lomasa Hansa. Lomasa Hansa means when something happened, our body hair become rise. Buddha said you keep in mind this teaching is a hair rising up. And then the Nagasamala was happy. And Buddha taught these things to Sariputta. Nagasamala was behind the Buddha, keep fanning him, and that he said that comment. Um, yeah, that's we finished the sutta today. Any question?
Hmm.
No questions.
This is a very intense sutta.
Yeah,
We
it's
need,
heartbreaking, shocking.
we need to think a lot about it. If the Buddha had been born into the formless abode, he would not have been a bodhisattva. So therefore, he could have been born into the formless abode, but he didn't because otherwise he wouldn't be a bodhisattva. I think.
Yeah,
The Buddha.
that's those are five types of Brahma worlds.
Uh-huh.
Especially
Mm,
the who attain to the stages of the enlightenment, first stage, second, third stage,
yeah.
and they will
Mm,
born in the Brahma realms, and they never
right.
come back to human realm again.
No, those are arhants, right? Arhat. Mm. So if you want to be a Buddha, you have to forego heaven.
Right.
Mm. Mm. Oh,
You know, then after Buddha's enlightenment and Buddha came back, he
mm,
stayed under the Bodhi tree, around Bodhi tree 7 weeks
mm,
after his enlightenment. And then he decided to teach about enlightenment, what he achieved.
yeah,
And Buddha was hesitating, the people could understand these things because this world is already attached to the pleasure and sense of
mm,
pleasure to these things. And finally, he decided to teach, and he came to see five ascetics,
mm,
five ascetics.
mm,
And Buddha start to teach them. They may bhikkave anta pabbajitena nasevitabba. Monks, there are two ways a monk not supposed to practice.
mm,
One is indulgence and sensual pleasure, the other one is self-mortification. The both are useless, painful. The first one, indulgence, sensual pleasure, is the law,
mm,
not supreme. And the self-mortification is painful. And then the way to practice is middle path.
mm.
You can unmute and talk. We have a little time to today to talk. I want to hear you. Just listening, not talking. I don't know you understand or you learning or something.
So quiet.
Yeah.
Mm. Unmute. There you go. Nobody wants to
To
speak.
talk. That's very clear to you, huh?
Maybe
Or maybe
I think it's good if it's very clear. I think it's good if it's not clear. But if you think it's clear and it really isn't clear, that's a
yeah, I think
problem.
the Buddha got so many headache and Buddha got a
Mm,
backbone pain
you
when he
know,
was teaching.
mm,
Buddha said, "Oh, my backbone is very hurting.
mm,
I'm going to get a little rest. Sariputta, please keep continue teaching." And Buddha asked Sariputta sometimes. Buddha asked sometimes Moggali, yeah, the Moggallana, Buddha's
mm,
disciples, to teach instead of Buddha because Buddha got a
Mogala.
backbone pain. Sometimes he got a headache. I think
Mm,
Buddha passed away because of the blood loose motion, right?
mm,
I think the Buddha got that things because of this his self mortification. He practiced so he didn't eat.
yeah,
Uh, he didn't eat. I think when he become 80 years old and he got so many physical problems
yeah.
uh, because of that practice.
Bhante, in the Parinibbana Sutta, we learn that the Buddha said to Ananda, if you had asked me, I would have stayed, but you never asked me to stay. So off I go. And here we also have the tradition of the Buddha deciding whether or not once he reaches enlightenment, that is, once the Buddha attains enlightenment, somebody has to ask him to teach. We have that tradition. So in this case, I'm not 100% sure who asked him. I think it was a deity
Yeah,
who
it's
said he
called Sampati Brahma.
yeah, you must please for the sake of the beings, please teach the Dhamma. So that act of asking is really important. All the Buddhas in the past did not teach until they were asked to do it. So we have that tradition of asking, right?
I think
Asking.
I think that's what is the commentary says. Invitation.
Yeah.
Actually, Buddha became enlightened and Buddha himself to teach to people,
Mm,
and he already decided earlier and to practice for that.
yeah.
But traditionally,
I,
after his enlightenment and the Brahma
yeah.
and come to him and invite him to teach. That's what
Mm,
is the text says.
yeah. Is that only? I thought that was in the sutta too. Maybe not.
It's come through the Arya Pariyeshana Sutta.
Oh, well, I think it's an interesting thing because if beings are not asking or expressing a need to listen, then the Buddha can teach, but there would be no listeners, right? In other words, there's two parts. There's the teaching, but there's also the learning. And it seems as though requesting the Buddha to teach is an acknowledgement that this is two sides. It's useless to teach unless there's a receptive learner, somebody who wants to receive the teaching, right? Mm, mm. Anyway, just a thought. Mm,
Okay.
mm.
So then no any comments. Then I'm going to end up the session. Okay.
Mm, mm.
Okay. Then transfer the merits to the departed ones. Today it's early, 10 minutes early. Okay. We're
That's
going
okay.
to end up the session, and we're going to
Mm,
learn next week the new one.
mm,
And keep practicing meditation, vipassana meditation. I want you to practice vipassana meditation as well, the breathing meditation. The most important practice is vipassana meditation. Don't hesitate. Don't afraid to
mm,
do that. It's not about negative things. It's a reality. It's
mm,
develop your understanding, your wisdom. Um, that is the way to live without any stress.
mhm,
It's the way to live without any uh, confusion.
mm,
Anything is possible, anything could happen to me, anything could happen to me, anything could happen to anyone else,
mm,
right? I don't know, I will die today or tomorrow.
mm,
Uh, this is what is impermanent. Who knows? Anything is possible. This is impermanent.
mm,
Um, Everything is temporary. This is the reality. And when we understand this nature, whatever happened, then I say, yeah, it is impermanent, nothing to worry. Right? When I then if I attach to something, when I lose it, I become crazy because I think it is I, it is mine, it is mine, this is mine, this is mine. There are nothing,
mm,
anything mine. Even there are nothing, anything I, because I also is temporary. Whatever we call
mm,
I is temporary. Whatever we call my or mine, it's not mine. It's everything is temporary. It's nothing to worry. When we lose something, then to practice vipassana, try to understand impermanent, unsatisfactoriness, and selfless. And this is the way to enlightenment. This is the way to liberation, freedom. This is
mm,
the way to reduce our craving, our attachment, our ignorance, our hate, ill will. Then practice vipassana meditation and see you next week. Transfer merits to the departed ones and to the ghosts and to the gods. All sentient beings share these merits. By sharing these merits, may they all be born in the happy realms and go to good destination. By the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, by the power of these merits, you, your parents, and family members live happily, peacefully, without any afflictions, and finally, may we all be able to attain to enlightenment. Akasattha Chubummattha Deva Naga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkantu Sasanang Chirang Rakkantu Desanang Chirang Rakkantu Mamparang Sabbitiyo Vivajjantu Sabbarogo Vinasatu Mate Bhavatmantarayo Sukhi Digayuko Bhava Bhavatu Sabba Mangalang Rakkantu Sabba Devata Sabba Buddhanubhavena Sabba Dhammanubhavena Sabba Sanghanubhavena Sada Suddhi Bhavantu Te. Sadhu, sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu.
And thank you so much for your offering. I appreciate that, and thank you so much. And see you next week.
Thank you.
Bante.
Teruan Sarnay Bante.
Teruan
Thank
Sarnay
you.
Nona.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.